Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about gentle skincare, sometimes self-care, and today I want to talk about my most restocked skincare. Oh yeah, this is the skincare that I'm buying over and over again and have been for many years. Think of it as the list of my ultimate holy grails. If you're so ready to dive into all the skincare I just can't get enough of, give the video a big thumbs up and let's get started. First up, Make Prem Essence Toner. I've been crushing on this one since 2021, and ever since I started using it, I really haven't stopped using it. Now, of course, there's been periods of time where I've used other products or I haven't repurchased it right away, but I mean, time and time again, I am constantly getting this, and anytime I give a favorable review to any new toner, there will always be somebody in the comments saying, well, how does it compare to Make Prem though? Like, does it change your feelings about Make Prem? It's like nothing compares to Make Prem, and I don't know if there will ever be a product that comes along and topples that very, very, very number one spot for me personally. There's so many great hydrating toners out there, but for me, there's something about this toner that just checks all my boxes. You know what I mean? I love the formula because it's incredibly simple. I don't need my hydrating toner to be jam-packed full of actives and exfoliants and all that. I don't need it to do anything but hydrate my skin and be gentle and kind to my sensitive skin, and this is absolutely that. It has the best texture because it's so watery, it's thin, it's so quickly absorbed. I can layer this onto my skin a few times really quickly because my skin just absorbs this texture like super duper quickly, but it's not like it goes and then it disappears, because some textures can feel quite thin and they absorb fast, but they're not doing much for your skin. This is so hardworking. What does James Welch say? Like full fat water, right? So the full fat water gets deep into the skin, gets to the source of that tight, dry feeling, that dehydration deep within my skin, and it just expands and fills every little crevice, every little cell in my skin and in my epidermis full of hydration without weighing it down and without feeling sticky on top. It comes in a giant 500 milliliter bottle, which I find very economical because I do go through toner very fast. Dr. Ceuracle Kombucha Tea Essence. 2021 is when I discovered this product, and I have to say it was a good year for skincare for me. It's also just beautiful. I love these two layers here, the hydrating tea portion. My skin does really well with tea. It really does help to reduce inflammation and really perks up my complexion. So this really beautiful tea portion, and then this creamy portion that's based in sunflower oil. So these two biphase layers, right? It's so fun to mix them together. It reminds me quite a bit of like the creamer that I pour into my coffee. So mix it together, and then it actually applies like a hydrating essence with this really silky, elegant, creamy, nourishing feel to it. It is so wild because yeah, it nourishes it and moisturizes without being heavy. Now, I think if you don't have dry areas on your skin, it will feel heavy for you, but if you do have dry areas like I do, I have combination skin, so this area here tends to get very dry for me. This area here tends to get quite oily for me. This area just feels so nourished and so comforted, and like Make Prem, it goes into every little dry crack in my skin and just like expands in creamy, silky, nourishing moisture, but it absorbs so well and it doesn't leave like a film on top. And then that oily part of my skin doesn't feel overwhelmed either. It actually accepts that the essence very, very well, and so it just balances out my skin, which is an imbalanced skin type, right? It just, like if you have combination skin, literally these two layers were made for you, right? It just feels so good. And not just the texture and the way it feels and moisturizes and conditions and balances my skin, but as I mentioned, the tea actually gives me some visible benefits for my complexion. It actually reduces redness. And it actually can be helpful when I'm breaking out too, because I do need all the anti-inflammatory ingredients that I can get to kind of calm and soothe and really gently encourage the healing of acne, and the kombucha in here, the fermented tea, really does that. By Wishtrend, Propolis Energy Ampule and essence. And I have been crushing on these since 2019. I believe the essence was released in 2020, but I first started using the serum in 2019. And if you watched my old content, you would know this product by the name by Wishtrend Polyphenols in Propolis 15% ampule. And this one is really interesting, just the ampule itself, because it's a really beautiful blend between, 15% of propolis, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but it has 59% of heart leaf extract. And this was just prior to heart leaf becoming extremely popular in K-beauty products. Ingredients like heart leaf and propolis really do encourage that healing, soothing, reduction of swelling, of inflammation, and they're antibacterial. So they're not pushing my sensitive skin too far to the point where I, damage my moisture barrier and then probably end up with more acne, right? So I really like this because as soon as I start adding this into my routine, if I am breaking out, I can see that they just, in a few days, they just start to look better. They're less red, they're less swollen, and I can see that they're starting to heal up a little bit faster too. And then they came out with the essence, I believe the following year in 2020, and I fell deeply in love with that too. It's quite different in composition and formulation from the serum, but it's actually amazingly complementary to the serum. And so I'm not usually one to say, oh, you have to use both together. And I'm not saying that you need to use both, but there's something about when you do use both, that's an amazing pair for, again, sensitive and acne prone skin. The essence isn't really using the heart leaf. There's a kiss of propolis, but it's really all about the 10% of willow bark extract in here. It's not exfoliating your skin like salicylic acid would. It's not chemical exfoliation. It is related to salicylic acid. It's a salicylate, but I just find that this gently helps to reduce texture and gently helps to reduce congestion and inflamed breakouts. A little bit more than the heart leaf does, because there is just a little bit of the dead skin cell lifting action with this, just a little clarifying, but not stripping and not astringent, not drying. Illiyoon Ceramide 8.0 Concentrate Cream. Now, I have been loving this one since 2019. Oh yeah, and I'll be like, her flip. I was one of the first people to start talking about this before it became viral. But I've actually loved it through a few reformulations, and it did change quite drastically, I personally feel, in, I believe it was 2022 when they changed it? I think that was then. And I actually still really like it, and it has not fallen out of my most restocked and most repurchased products. So that says a lot, I think, about a product. So yeah, I really love this one when I damaged my moisture barrier. This cream is, dear to my heart because it got me through a rough period of time, right? But it's also dear to my heart because it has always worked for my skin. It has always felt so good. It has always been so skin respectful. It has always had the most amazing texture, and I like that it comes in quite a big tube, right? It's always been very economical. I have seen the price being going up in the last couple of years as they've gotten more popular, unfortunately, and also all the prices of everything have gone up. But I still find this to be a pretty good deal for the amount that you get versus the price, right? So it's something that has lasted me a long time too. I never had to think, can I afford to get this again? It's always just been a no-brainer. So I absolutely love that. They changed the formula in 2022, and I was not super happy about it when it first happened. I still liked the product, but I was really shocked that it had transformed so much. And it did actually make it a cream that I couldn't use year round anymore, but I actually save it now for the cooler months. But I've had 2 years now where I have actually returned to the cream in the cooler months. And so, yeah, it has stuck with me. It's changed, and I've changed how I've incorporated it into my routine because of that, but it still sticks with me. It still performs beautifully. It's a little bit richer and more moisturizing than it used to be, but I still really do love this. Cerave Moisturizing Cream, and I've been buying and loving this one since 2018. And I got to shout out my friend Amy for recommending this one to me, because I remember I was like, my skin, it hurts, it's so irritated, it's so dry, I'm suffering in winter. And she was like, girl, get yourself some Cerave. Get the Cerave, the blue tub, get that stuff. It's so good. I was like, okay, I'll go get it. And then it's been in my routine ever since. Now, kind of like Illiyoon, this is a cream that I can use year round. It's got the perfect texture, the perfect amount of moisture, the perfect amount of comfort and nourishment and protection for my skin. But it doesn't overwhelm my skin. And it's July and I'm using this as my main moisturizer right now because it just works for me so good. And it's one of those creams where I say it actually moisturizes deep inside of the skin and not on top of your skin. I hate when moisturizers sit on top of my skin, when there's a film on top of my skin, when it doesn't feel like it fully absorbs. This feels like it fully absorbs into my skin, but it does all that nourishment and moisture deep in my skin where I need it the most, right? But it just does not interfere with the top, of my skin. So I think it's just so great, wonderful. Another one that is pretty economic based on the size that you get, the tubs and the squeeze tubes and everything, they last me forever. When I travel, I often will just take a tube of Cerave and it will double up as my body product and as my face product. And so I really like that flexibility. Stratia Lipid Gold. I have been loving this product since 2018. And not only do I know that the first time I used it was 2018, I can remember exactly the month. It was October of 2018. I remember exactly when I ordered it, when I bought it, when I first tried it. Like, memory is wild, right? It's really interesting. But that product is so dear to my heart that I actually just remember exactly where I was, exactly when I first experienced it. I've been loving this product since it was called Liquid Gold. They recently changed the name. I think it was just last year that they changed it. And I like that it's called Lipid Gold. I think that it describes the product a little bit better, I think. But anyways, yeah, I bought this when my moisture barrier was super duper messed up. It was incredibly damaged. I had used way too many actives. I had thrown way too much new stuff at my skin. I was pushing my skin way too hard and my skin was like, enough. And my barrier was so damaged. My skin was so irritated. It was so red. It was so inflamed. I was getting the worst breakouts. And my skin just looked terrible too. It felt worse than it looked, but it looked really bad. And this is a product that, at that point in time, I think it had only been out for just a few years at that point. It was still in like a one-person brand, I think, but I had heard a lot about it in the blogging community, which I've been really in touch with for many, many years. And so the product itself, the brand Stratia, was actually created by a blogger that I knew by the name of the Acid Queen, who is Allie Reed. And so I was like, yeah, I kind of had always heard of this brand, but I'd never had the funds to try it. And finally got so desperate that I ordered this product that was all about ceramides, cholesterol, fatty acids, about these three main ingredients that were really the best things to be using for healing your moisture barrier. This is before people were talking about moisture barriers. This is before people got excited about ceramides. This is just before that. And so this was really one of the few products that was really talking about barrier care. And so I got it and I fell in love with it. It really helped my skin. I always credit this product for healing my moisture barrier, but I have to be dead honest with you. And if you've gone through this, you know exactly what I'm about to say. It's not just about using the right products, but it's about aligning your behavior with healing. Because I think that, yes, this product is potent. It will absolutely help to heal a damaged moisture barrier. But if you're still trying to exfoliate, if you're still trying to use your actives and your retinol and your AHAs and your BHAs, and you're still trying to treat your acne, even though you know you have a damaged moisture barrier, and even though you know those ingredients are bad for you, and you're still trying to use it because reasons, you're probably not going to be able to heal your moisture barrier with these amazing potent barrier healing products, right? When I got this product, I was finally in the mindset. I was like, I am not going to start messing around. I'm not effing around with any of these things anymore. I'm just focusing on healing. I just can't take it anymore. And I think I aligned my behavior. I used this product and my skin felt better. It was getting stronger by every single day I used this product, and so it definitely was something dear to my heart. Then in 2019, I was reluctant to let go of this product because it made my skin feel amazing from, healing, of course, but it also just made my skin feel amazing. That little extra moisture really helped me out. But then I was kind of trying to figure out other skin sensitivities while also kind of like making sure my barrier didn't get weak. So I kept this in my routine. And then I just kept this in my routine. And then I tried to take it out and I missed it. So I kept it in my routine. This has, this is really rare, I think, for somebody who does what I do, right? I run this YouTube channel. I've been doing it for 6 years. This is my full-time thing. I test skincare and I do reviews and I talk about skincare education, all that. I try a lot of products, okay? I have been using this consistently. It really has rarely ever been out of my routine for any meaningful amount of time. I have been consistently using the same product since 2018 for 6 years, almost 6 years. Isn't that wild to think about that? This is, it's not hype. I'm not hype. I mean, it probably feels like I am. I'm not hyping this product. I'm just being 100% with you. This is just the product that like, it just works for me. And I just don't want to take it out of my routine. I just don't want to find anything else. Why would I? The Ordinary Chia Seed Oil. I've been crushing on this, I think, since 2020. For the longest time, I had really oily skin, very acne prone skin. As I got older, it turned a little bit more combination, a little bit more prone to dehydration. And that I think is why my skin responds so well to so much moisture. But because I had been conditioned for so long to think of my skin as oily, I was afraid to use oil. But once I discovered oil, I was like, wow, this is actually really transforming my skin. So I always use oil now. And I've used a lot of different ones, secondary shout out to Stratia Fortify Oil, probably the second oil that I buy the most. But I think I've bought the Ordinary Chia Seed Oil the absolute most because it's super affordable. You know what I mean? It's like $10. It's so cheap, but it's so good. Something about chia seed oil, the fatty acid composition of that oil in my skin, it's a match made in heaven. It really helps with dehydration. It really is a lighter type of oil. It's not so heavy that I can't use it in the summertime if I choose to. It's a really light, fluidy type of oil. It's incredibly balancing, not overwhelming, not too greasy, and it just really helps my skin. I do feel like chia seed oil has also helped with my skin congestion as well. Wild, right? Not everybody is going to have success treating congestion with a facial oil, but I just find that having the right composition of fatty acids in my skincare routine has helped to balance out my skin's oil production and the keratin in my oil production and how that gets stuck inside of my skin. It's a lot of factors that line up to that, but facial oil has helped that. NIOD, Modulating Glucosides, loving it since 2021, and you've probably been hearing about it from me since 2021. This is one of those ones where it's like, I know, but I'm gonna say it again, NIOD. Just like with Stratia, I'm like, I know you know, but let me tell you again in case you don't know for some reason. I love this one. I use it a lot. And it's another one, this video is all about like what I keep in stock, what I constantly purchase, right? What I always have around. And so this is another one where I will stock up on a couple of bottles when, NIOD has their sale. It's one that I'll always kind of have in my cabinet, but it's also the one that I'm constantly using as well. And it's just simply because it is a soothing, anti-irritation, barrier strengthening type of serum. If my skin is feeling itchy and irritated, I use this, it feels calmed down. If my skin is feeling weak, I use this, it feels strong. If my skin is feeling just like it's feeling it, you know what I mean, from like the weather or allergies or what, I'll use this and it feels good. It's got lots of antioxidants, lots of anti-inflammatories, lots of anti-itch and anti-burning ingredients. It has a lot of barrier supportive ingredients. You wouldn't know it to look at the ingredients list, but they are there. And I definitely have done a deep dive into all the ingredients here if you're like skincare nerdy and you want to dive into the ingredients. There's some pretty interesting things happening in here. I'll link to the video. But it is so good. And it's got that creamy texture. If you know me, I love my toners watery and I love my serums creamy. So weird. I just love a good creamy serum, especially the ones that aren't full on like moisturizing rich creams, but they have that little hydration. They have that little plumpness, that little gel-like quality to them. If they have that and a creamy texture, I am over the moon, like in love with just how it makes my skin feel, which is going to be balanced, right, for combination skin. But I love that this soothes my skin on contact. I haven't had actually a flare-up in a few years now, I think it's been, but I am prone to eczema. I usually get it around my lip, and when I was getting like a bad patch of eczema on my lip, I would just put like a little dab of this just to ease the itching, and it worked so good. So yeah, I have a deep appreciation for products that can ease that itchiness with eczema. La Roche-Posay Cicaplast Balm. I've been loving this since I think 2020. This is such a goodie, and this is such a multi-purpose cream. I use this in so many different ways. I think that's why I constantly have it restocked and I'm always buying it, because you can use this for burns, cuts, bug bites. It's an amazing skin protectant to promote healing. That's really what it's meant to do, right? It really helps to relieve itchiness and irritation on the skin. So I'll put this on bug bites. I tend to get a really robust immune response when I get bug bites. They'll really swell up, get really red and really itchy. And so this just really helps to soothe that and take the edge off. It promotes healing because it has a high amount of dimethicone, which really helps to protect the skin. It also kind of keeps the skin moist. And then there's all different kinds of ingredients in here that really do help to promote the skin to mend up. It is very occlusive. That dimethicone actually creates a really nice a nice barrier for the skin to hold in hydration or to hug in all your skincare. It actually performs as a slugging product or a sleeping mask very well if you're prone to dehydration. Excellent. Some people actually like to use this as their moisturizer. I personally don't, but if it works for you, that's awesome. One thing I started using this for actually is I mix a small pea-size amount of this into my moisturizer in the winter time. If my moisturizer ever feels like it's just not enough or my skin is just a little extra dry, I'll oomph up my moisturizer with a little bit of this. Again, that dimethicone really helps it to be a lot more occlusive, to be a lot more protective, but then all the soothing elements really help with dry skin and that irritation that can come with that. Skin 1004 Hyalu-Cica Sunscreen. I have been crushing on this one since 2022, pretty much since it was released. I've been loving this product. It's so good. And you hear me talk about it all the time. You see me use it all the time. It really is my daily driver for casual sun exposure. This is a really good, elegant, lotion-like sunscreen for everyday use. It works amazing under makeup. For me, it has no white cast. The formula itself is really comfy. Not only does it not irritate my skin or around the delicate eye area, it also doesn't like travel into my eyes. Some sunscreens can kind of like, not only do they like kind of sit on top of your skin, but they can sometimes just sort of migrate into like the corners of your eye, and then all of a sudden your eye is like watering in the middle of the day and stinging, and you're like, why? I always say this is a sunscreen I don't have to think about too much because it just always works. And it's a sunscreen I often forget that I'm wearing because it's just so comfortable, and that's exactly what I want. Avene, very high protection, fragrance-free fluid, and I've been loving this also since 2022. And the funny thing is, I started using the Skin 1004 sunscreen right before, like just in the few weeks before I went to Greece in June of 2022. And when I was in Greece is when I discovered this Avene sunscreen, and I started using that when I was, because I was in Greece for almost a month. So I was there for a really long time. I was outside like every single day in June, very hot, very intense sun. And this sunscreen kept my skin protected beautifully. It does have water resistance to it, up to 80 minutes, I think. It is a thicker sunscreen, but I still find that it worked really well for my skin. I didn't get too much of a white cast with it. It's a little heavier, a little greasier, but you know what I mean? When you want really good protection, when you're in a high UV situation, you're outside all day, it's hot, you're sweating, or you're going to, you're going to go swimming in the sea or something, you're going to be at the beach, you want something that works a little bit harder. And so that's exactly what this does. So I bought it early in my trip because I was really excited to buy all the sunscreens I could find, really. I bought it early in my trip. I started using it early, and it just, I legit bought like at maybe 10 sunscreens when I was there, and it was the one that I just kept using while I was there. And then it was one of the few that I really went out of my way to buy once I was home. And this is the one that I have been buying so much. I I emptied a bottle. I have a bottle open and I have another one in the back stock too. And I make sure for sure in the summertime that I have this, because this is just the one that I feel so protected with in high UV. I feel so protected with when I'm sweating a lot. I mean, if it worked in Greece, you know what I'm saying? It's going to work in the Midwest here in the US. And bonus shout out, you know, I've been talking all about skincare products, but I do want to say I have been using the Shiseido Tsubaki shampoo and conditioner, both the moist and the premium versions, since 2014. I haven't not stopped buying this product. So this is shampoo and conditioner that I have been using for so long. I always get a lot of questions about what do I use on my hair, and I credit so much of my hair health to this shampoo and conditioner. I don't have a very big hair I don't even consider myself to have a hair care routine. I wash my hair, I put like some product on after, and that's pretty much all I do for my hair. I have to be completely honest with you. A lot of the hair care happens in the shower with shampoo and conditioner, and it's pretty much been the same one since 2014, which is the Tsubaki line. So I hope you enjoyed that roundup of the skincare that I purchase over and over again. And if you're a longtime viewer, I bet there was no surprises here, right? I'm curious, what are some products that you buy all the time? Let me know in the comments below. If you love this video, please remember to hit subscribe and turn on notifications before you go, especially if you want to see more skincare content like this on your feed. Thanks for being here with me today. I love you so much. Thanks for making this channel possible. I hope you are healthy, happy, and safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.